Good day, folks. So as promised, we're going to talk today about the market. Well, as promised in the last video that I made, I had to do my update, my AZ 104, and that's basically what happened. But in that video, I promised I was going to talk about the market, the IT market as it is today, specifically Azure, specifically cloud, and we're going to just basically say, okay, we are going to, how you say, explore what it is to be, should we be a contractor or a permanent employee? I'm getting a little bit of feedback from people asking the question because the market's changed. People are going, look, if I'm a permanent employee and I'm doing the same work as a contractor, but that contractor is working like 3 times, 4 times as much money as I am, should I remain? So we're going to talk about that today. So let me just share my screen, share this one. And let's get on with it. Okay, so I usually use JobServe when it comes to like exploring the market and seeing what there is out there today. And let me tell you, it's really interesting because never before have I seen so many jobs starting at £100,000 or in the bracket of the £100,000 mark. Now, let's just take a recap. Today is, wow, this increase is huge. Why is that? Oh my sweet Jesus. So I'm looking for Azure engineer. Azure engineer in the terms of cloud, no offense to anyone, I had to start off here. Being an Azure engineer is the beginning of the food chain, okay? But it's the important bit of the food chain. If you don't know how to administer your environment, then therefore, you don't know the basics. Being an Azure engineer without knowing the basics is going to land you a lot of trouble. But look at the figure. This is November. Usually around this time of year, not contracts, but projects are starting to wind down. People are just starting to get the Christmas decorations out and just begin to say, hey, it's time for Christmas, time to just simmer down and just let's relax. Doesn't seem that way. Usually I would see I don't know, 300, 400 in total, 300, 400 jobs published in JobServe. This is a record. And I don't know why. Could it be because of COVID? And then what will happen is that projects were delayed, deferred, and now everybody has to basically get those projects running, or should I say, and on top of that, people have now shifted to cloud. Everything's cloud. There's no on premises. There's no no traditional rack and stack. Everything's cloud. So let's explore this. So 2003, 2004, ladies and gentlemen, there's no excuse to not to get a cloud job these days. And if you're not getting a cloud job and you want help, give me a shout. Find me on LinkedIn. I'll leave a link below. So let's focus more on the permanent side of things, starting at or within the brackets of £100,000. Okay. Now, if I look here, I'm seeing the average 85. So 85 to 100, 80 to 105. That's new. Okay. It's kind of throwing me off a bit. Whoa, look at this. 105 to 120 plus bonus. Now, I never care about the bonus side of things. I'll tell you why. At some point, someone will have an excuse to be able to say, that bonus you were hoping for, well, we didn't hit that target. And I'll be like, that's okay because I wasn't counting on it anyway, But if you did hit the bonus, good for you. I've never been in the company, although I work my socks off and I give them more than they've asked for, I never achieved the bonus. So, I always look at the salary. I never look at the salary and the bonus because the bonus is just a good plus. But look at this. This has changed. Full remote, DevOps engineer, Microsoft Azure Finance Bank in London, 105 to 120. Interesting. Well, I was going to say that the market is average at 100, but it's looking at 105. 120. Wow, this is shot up, man. This is shot up. And look, there's 312 jobs posted at this. This is exciting. And I tell you why it's exciting is because returning on the days before the dot-com bubble, people are investing heavily in tech. You have to, without a shadow of a doubt, you have to. So let's see, for example, if we were to work in a permanent role, we're probably averaging about 100 grand. Let's just keep it simple. 100 grand is where you're going to average. You can get a salary today of 100 grand. Now, some of you will say, well, the job is posted 80 to 105. Maybe I'll get 90. Don't lower your expectations. Don't. And I'll tell you why. The market is moving at such a fast pace that if you apply for a job that's average, that's posted for 80 to 105, right? And you say that you want to take the 90 because 90,000 pounds is where you feel comfortable at, is a bad move. Because the technology, when you are put in place and you're studying and you're perfecting your craft, what will happen is that you're going to be worth 100,000 pounds within about 6 months, especially if you train with me. So why settle? Why go for the 90 just because you're cheaper and you hopefully get the role? Bad move. And I'll tell you why. It's because when it comes to applying for the next job, if they look at your pace packet or whatever it is, your P, was it? I don't know, P60, P9, I don't know, P60, let's call it P60. You get that P60 and they go, well, your last salary was 75, say for example that you apply for the role, you get it, and you say, well, I'll accept a salary of 90 grand, let's say. But then there's somewhere else that's actually more exciting for you to work at, and the job is going to pay 120 to 140 this time next year. I bet you, this time next year, 120, 140. Someone's going to go, dude, you're jumping from 90 grand to 120. Why should I give you that? If you are at 100 grand, then I'll feel comfortable with giving you a salary of 120. But why should I give you a salary of 120 when you jump from 90 to 120? Maybe I give you 110. So never put yourself down, okay? Apply big. There's plenty of money out there, guys. Seriously, the world is a rich place. So anyway, I digress. Let's say that's 100 grand, okay? Let's compare it to the market of a contractor. Now, the market's changed. Let me tell you a little bit about the market with being a contractor. You've got two types of contractors, inside IR35 or outside IR35. Inside IR35 just basically means that you're treated in the eyes of the law as a permanent employee, meaning you lose 40% of your tax, 40% of your money to tax. That's basically what it means. Now, before being in outside IR35 on our limited company, what will happen is that you would get money paid to your limited company, and then you would take a salary, then a dividend on top. Okay. And it works out pretty good because, you offset things against your company, so on and so forth. There are advantages and disadvantages. The advantage about being inside IR35 is you're part of the company. Before, as a contractor, you couldn't go, or you shouldn't have gone on Christmas parties if that's what you want to do. You couldn't get like lunch meals because you'd be seen as a permanent employee. All these things that we couldn't be part of, now we could be part of. So if you're a contractor and you only get paid 3 to 4 times more than a permanent employee and get the perks as being in a permanent role, so the question still goes, why not be a contractor? Okay, so you're talking about, well, if I'm a contractor, I'm not part of the business. Not true. You are part of the business. It's just basically being inside R35 defines your role differently. You don't get the same probably things of complaining to HR because your manager is being a prick, or things like that. But there are other benefits, like you could take a holiday whenever the hell you want. You want 2 months off, do it. As long as the money suits you. What else would you not get? Okay, let's say, for example, health. and medical and all those things covered as a contractor, if you're getting paid 5 to 7 to probably 5, let's call it 5 to £1,000 these days, then you pay for it. You budget for it. Simple. So let's compare. We've already done permanent, and we agreed that we will say the average is 100 grand, and that's what you should apply for. Contracting. This is interesting. Now, as you can see, I don't put the tick in the box that says not stated on the job. Never apply for a job that doesn't state the salary, ladies and gentlemen. Reason being is because if you do, they're, in my opinion, they're just fishing for your CV. I've never been put forward for a role, and I've applied for so many in the past, that when the rate is not specified, it never came to anything. Okay, a person out there may have successfully achieved a job that way. Good for you. But unless you know the figures of what you're working for, don't apply. Seriously, it's just fishing. Anyway, let's look. Azure engineer. So we compare Azure engineer permanent. Let's compare it as contractor. Azure engineer 450 to 500. Okay, that's good. 550 to 600. Data engineer. Okay, data engineer is picking up. Home base 525 to 575. This duration 2 months, but inside R35. Don't be afraid of that. Just take the job, learn. Azure data engineer, ADF, Databricks, 5 to 550, 3 months. Azure cloud engineer. Look at this, remote. Ooh, 550 to 600. Is this inside R35 for 12 months? 12 months. For 12 months, you're going to get paid 550 to 650 per day. 12 months. Okay, you said no. So let's compare. Let's break this down, though. Let's break this down into, let's say, for example, okay, you apply for this job, 550, 650. You land it at 600 because there is some negotiation that takes place depending on your skills and what have you. But let's say, for example, your skills don't add up. You've got one thing that they didn't, that they wanted but didn't. And just remember, all this stuff is a wish list, And now I'm not saying that the recruitment agency is making the wish list. All this usually comes from the client that they're representing. Okay. But let's say, for example, you don't know this Microsoft Power Platform and integrating on-premises data. You don't know it. And you apply, they say, Jude, we like you, but you don't know this. Is there any negotiation? You say, okay, let's go for 600. But let's compare the two. Now, I've pre-populated this so that I can just speed things up because I never edit my videos. I just give it to you raw. You go for a salary for £100,000. I'm interested in this. If you work for a salary of £100,000, your day rate is £384.62, right? What you receive on a monthly basis, and that's before tax. Before tax is 8,033. Let's call it 8,004. You get in your hand after tax 5,557. Okay, it's a good piece. It's a good piece of change. But now let's compare that to if you're getting paid £600. If I look at £600, you got 8,000, 13,000 here before tax. After tax, 5,000, 7,000. That's 2,200, isn't it? That, and I pre-calculated this before this video. That's £26,000 additional of what you get paid if you were to be a contractor. You get additional 26 grand. Isn't that amazing? So for that additional 26 grand, guess what? That is your bonus. 1, 2 is that pays for your benefits, like your medical, health and benefits, for you and your family. And quite frankly, that pays for your training. You want to take a month off to go and do a course, that covers that and more, so why not contract? Okay. I know what you're going to probably say, but that rate that you showed me here is inside R35. Surely it's less. So let's go for inside R35 calculator. Usually use PayStream. preempt this. For some reason, I kind of get bang on 600, but let's go for 602. Okay. Now, as you can see, if this was a outside R35, you would get this per month, per week, sorry. You get 10 grand per month. As an umbrella, you get 1,748. What's that? Significant lot of money. And 7,000. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 2.5. Oh, let's call it 3 grand less. Now you got to remember that you're paying the government 40% of what you make, plus the umbrella has to take its cut, guys. Okay. I recommend PayStream. I'm using them at the moment. Pretty good. Now, that's still way more than getting paid a permanent. Remember, permanent was 557 at £600, and that's not even the top end. You're getting 7. You're still getting that 2,000 plus more money for 12 months, and it could probably, extend. So the question to you is, why should I not do contracting? Well, contract is not for all. See, contracting is not for someone that doesn't like to take a risk. Contract is not for that person who wants to be part of the company. But from what I can see in the grand scheme of things, no permanent role is ever safe. I think this generation or this session or this last year or two has been dubbed the Great Resignation, because people are resigning more and more every day because they're coming to realize, you know what, I am worth more. And that's probably what you're seeing with the job rates going up, job and contract. Now, it could be at some point in the future, permanent salaries and contract salaries pay the same. Could be. But when that will happen, we don't know. 5, maybe 10 years from now, we will see. But let's look at the market in general. I use IT Job Watch to look at the market and see like where we are with things. Now, this is out by probably a period of 3 months. I don't think this actually reflects the true market it is today. I think basically the analysis will probably be updated to accurately define what we see on today's market. But Azure, as you can see, is minus 168. Let's say Azure DevOps, Azure, that's just Azure in general, is 548. But we just saw that you could get Azure for an average of £600. Probably get more. You get probably £1,000. But the point being is this. Take a chance. I read in Financial Times, the biggest risk that you could probably ever take at all is to not take any risk at all. I repeat that one more time because I don't think I made sense of myself. The biggest risk that you could ever take is to not take any risk at all. Meaning that if you want something bigger in your life, you have to take a chance. And to be honest with you, as long as you got the skills, as long as you can talk Azure or the cloud vendor of your choice, you don't have anything to worry about. Look at these principles. It's simple. DevOps for CI/CD practices. Well, do the course. AZ 400 will teach you that. Previous experience deploying cloud solutions infrastructure as code. Not a problem. Get yourself a subscription for Cloud Guru and learn infrastructure as code. Terraform or ARM. Choose your weapon. Proven experience deploying integrations technology. All that means is, can you actually tell me what this means? Google it. Experience in deploying Azure web apps. Okay, at the end, guys, this is just a wish list. Apply for the job. If you get it, great. If you don't, learn why and apply for the next one. It's not going to be that hard. Azure Cloud Technical. Are these permanent? These must be permanent. No, for some reason it's bleeding in. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that's been beneficial to you. If you need any assistance, you know where I am. But today we talked about simple. How's the job market performing today? Why would I choose between being a permanent employee or a contractor? Contracting has changed now. It's inside R35, but it's not the end of the world because, well, it gives you more benefits. And we just basically went over to see how we broke down the salary. Is it still worth being a contractor or is it worth being a permanent employee? That's if you're motivated by money. If you're not motivated by money, but you're motivated by something else, you have to ask yourself, would the money help you get where you want to go? That's the way I see it. My choice, or what would I do? Well, I'm contracting. I've been contracting since 2013, and I never had a gap unless I wanted it. Meaning, I never had a situation where I couldn't find work. Even the pandemic, I was able to find work. In fact, I was able to find more than 2-3 contracts at a time, working fully remote from home and choosing one, as long as you got the skills, you can get there. Anyway, I hope that's helped. I'll see you next time. Not sure what I'll be talking about. I have to update my AZ400 certificate. And yeah, see you then.